You ready, Jean?
I'm ready.
Okay, raise your right hand. I, Jude Salato,
I, Jude Salato,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of ZBA member.
the duties of a ZBA member.
All done.
Yay!
Welcome to another 7 years, Jude.
It's 5.
Is it 5? I thought it was 7.
7 for the planning board, because there's 7.
We're only 5. We're only worth 5. Okay.
We're only with 5. Hi, Joe.
Hey,
Hello.
Joe.
Well, the
Hello.
burnout rate here is much higher. So.
Okay.
You said
Well,
burnout rate?
Jude was just sworn into another 5-year term, and I remarked that it's different than the 7 years on the planning board. So the burnout rate is higher. That's where that. Now you're all caught up on the joke.
Dude, I'm going to send you 2 of these in the mail. I
Okay.
just need you to sign them
Okay.
and then send them back to us or drop them off or whatever. And then we'll stay with one and we'll send one to the county.
Okay. So that's different. Can I put it in the same envelope as the ethics form?
No.
No. Okay. Okay.
If you need me to review anything, Jude is your lawyer. Let me know.
Okay. I was actually in my car today thinking, boy, I actually know somebody now.
So,
Now we've got important connections.
Yeah.
You do entertainment law.
I do entertainment, no law. Gordon and I have a duo going.
Okay.
Hey.
See?
Hey, let's go.
You got it. Hang on.
Okay.
Hey.
Oh, I think I started something here.
Yeah, forum.
What do you go get his accordion?
You gotta
Banjo.
do this now. Don't tease us with this.
All right. I got my bass. Let's go, Gordon.
All right, my man. I need a bass player. Always could use a bass
We
player.
don't get paid enough to do entertainment and make decisions. So,
Right, that's right. Cowbell. I've got cowbell.
I got a guitar.
Well, I don't get paid for anything. We don't get paid for this either, so I'm just kind of used to it. Okay.
Plus and minuses, mute or not?
Okay, guys, it is 7 o'clock. We got so many little talking heads on the screen tonight. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Can you
No.
see?
Well, not talking heads, hopefully for a while. So, okay, I would like to, I'm Gordon Webb, the chair of the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Talk later if you want to. You
Okay,
can.
well, we got people talking. No more talking. No more talking.
Well, you guys could mute yourself, maybe, please.
You have to mute if you're going to talk, okay? Because I have to start a meeting here. Sorry, this is where the jokes stop.
Unmute.
Okay, I'd like to call for the Woodstock Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for January 13th, 2022. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have a quorum of at least 4, so we do have a meeting. And I would like to submit the minutes for approval from December 15th, 2021 and December 23rd, 2021. Do I have a second?
Second, I did ask Michelle to make a correction, and she did. Okay,
I did.
thank you.
Okay, then
I think I'm good.
we're all good. We have a public hearing tonight.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes,
Can I add something to the agenda, please?
perhaps.
Marcia had asked to have a discussion, and I know that Michelle spoke to Bill about it, but if we could just have a brief discussion, I think there's some value for us just to talk about it for a minute at the end of the meeting.
Okay, as long as it's brief.
Yeah.
It'll be brief.
I'm
I
just
sent
kidding.
an email out that basically says what it's all about.
Yes, I did read it quickly, so sure, shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and so with that, if there isn't anything else that anybody wishes to add to the agenda tonight, then I would like to call the public hearing ZBA case number 2201, application of Josh Koch and Shandia Civilli as represented by attorneys at Jacobowitz and Gubitz LLP, 158 Orange Avenue, PO Box 367, Walden, New York, 12586, for property located at 316 Yerry Hill Road, Woodstock, New York, 12498, a 0.80 acre parcel located within R5 zoning district for variances from the zoning law of the town of Woodstock, Article 4, Area Bulk Regulations, Section 260-24A2, accessory structures and features in yards, as modified by Section 260-26B2, for a 28-foot infringement into a 50-foot rear yard setback and a 17-foot infringement into a 25-foot side yard setback in order to install a 10-foot by 16-foot prefabricated storage shed. With that, our representatives tonight are,
Ben Gailey is here.
Okay,
On
Ben,
behalf
are
of my
you-
clients.
all right, Ben, are you gonna, why don't you take us out then?
Yeah, I'll start it off. My
Okay.
clients are here as well. By the
Gordon,
way, I have,
I'm
pardon me?
sorry, just before you start, Michelle, could you remind me if one of the contiguous neighbors is Joe Klee?
no, no,
I don't think so.
Okay,
no.
go ahead.
So,
Okay.
No, absolutely not.
Okay,
maybe
Okay.
some water. No?
Should I go?
Yes, please. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. By the way, I have a keyboard, so I might be able to help you guys out in that regard. In our application, we set forth, all the facts concerning this matter, and also all the reasons that address the 5 factors that deal with an area variance. And we think it's clear that those factors should convince the board that the variance should be granted. There's primarily, or the most important reason is there's no detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the community or the neighborhood. There's really no other location on the property that this shed could be located. We have letters from 4 of the 6 neighbors. The 5th neighbor is a part-timer. And those 4 letters are all very, very supportive of the location of this shed. They think it's the best location with respect to the property and also with respect to their own properties. One other neighbor has objected, but there's no reasons in that letter that relate to the variance. All the comments in that letter relate to irrelevant issues. There will be no undesirable change in the neighborhood. That's one of the major factors for the board to consider. And even if the board were to think that the variance is substantial, the bottom line, the bottom line test for the board is whether the benefit to the applicant outweighs the detriment to the environment or the physical conditions. And clearly there's no detriment to the environment or the neighborhood or the physical conditions. So we would request that the variance be granted. And that's all I have for now.
Okay, with that, I'd like to, are there any questions from the board?
I have a question. There was a maps submitted to us and it had a thin blue line, which I believe delineated between the Koch and the Cross property. And then a thicker blue line, which was the so-called driveway easement, whatever it is. But where I'm unclear is the reason given to the objection of this variance was that they may want to put a road in. But from the map that was submitted, it looks like the lower part of that road belongs to the Koches. So I don't see how one correlates with the other.
Yeah, this issue about well, first of all, my clients have no intention to put in a road. And this.
No, I was
Right.
referring to the other people objecting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know what their plans are, but the driveway is completely unrelated to the to the variance application. And just with respect to that, one of the comments in the letter from the neighbors is that it wasn't until, after the shed was installed that my client started using that driveway, which is not accurate at all. Both my clients and their neighbors have used that driveway for years, to access my client's property. So it wasn't due to the shed that they started using the driveway.
I have a question. Is there
Go ahead,
another,
Jude.
is there another access to this property, or that's the only access is across the cross?
No. They have access directly from the road.
So they do not need to use that access.
That's correct.
And Jude, I was told that ever since the access was objected to, they have not used it since, that they go through their yard and through their house
That's
to
correct.
access the shed.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead, Joe.
What type of motorcycle do you have?
Josh, that's for you.
I have a 2016 Harley Fat Boy S, and I also keep a 2000 Yamaha V-Star Classic so that when my father visits from Rochester, we can ride a little bit together.
That's a good son.
Thanks.
Yeah.
He stores more than motorcycles in there, though. It's, for lawn equipment and, other camping equipment and other gear that just doesn't fit in their house. They don't have a garage.
Mhm.
And as you can see from the letters that were submitted, all or almost all the properties in that area have sheds, for that same reason.
All right, I'm just curious, where's the house in relationship to this shed?
Well, if you look in your application package, there is a survey.
Or maybe I'm missing part of I have the map on the original application. It shows the property highlighted, but maybe I'm missing part of it.
There is.
I didn't see the house on the map either.
Yeah, if you go to the very last page of the application that we submitted,
Yes.
there's a survey that shows the shed and also shows the house.
Did that come in separate packages, Michelle? I don't have that on my,
Oh, this is
application.
the shed, and I'm
okay.
thinking this is the house over here.
Oh,
That's
okay.
correct.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's correct.
And
Okay.
it was explained to me that the reason they didn't put it closer to the house, because then it would be direct view of their next door neighbor who is above this area. So if they moved it closer to their house, that neighbor would be, it would be a straight on view from them.
Yeah,
It's nice.
in addition, other locations would require earthwork, grading and cutting and filling, and likely the removal of landscaping as well.
Okay, I have a question. Did I assign anybody this project?
Yes, you assigned me the project.
I thought so. All these sheds start looking alike after a while.
I'm the shed queen.
So you surveyed the property, Marcia? You surveyed?
Yes,
them?
I looked at I did a site visit. I took photos, which I sent to everybody,
Mhm.
to show where the shed was located in relation to the survey markers that I saw. The only thing I was unclear about was that so-called road that's being questioned, where the property actually becomes Josh's and where the property belongs to the neighbors.
Mhm.
And if you're saying that doesn't have anything to do with the granting of the variance, then it's a moot point.
Yeah,
But
that's
from where the marker was, it seemed to me that on the other side of the marker was the property that belonged to the Koches.
yeah, that driveway is unrelated to the variance application.
Okay, All right, I've got the pictures up, yes.
You see it?
Mhm.
Water, maybe? Sure. Thank you.
Sparkly or flat?
Could use a little sparkle.
Sparkle.
Kathy, can you mute yourself, please?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought I was muted. So the last time I muted myself, I lost you guys.
There's a little box of a microphone on the lower left of your Zoom screen.
I can mute you, Miss Wellborn.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions from the board?
I have one more question, sorry.
It's okay.
Josh, in the area behind and to the left where you're asking for the side variance, is that considered wetlands?
I'm not certain I understand what you're perceiving as the side versus like a back.
Well, the
Marcia.
back one was where those long streamers were. That was the back variance request. The
Yeah.
side variance request is where the stake is in the ground.
Mhm.
And it looked to me like everything around that was wetlands and the creek.
Yeah. Well, there's no designated wetlands there.
Okay,
There is a stream back there on the neighbor's property.
okay.
Maybe Michelle can read the contiguous neighbors for us.
I'll read that. I'm sorry, I was just looking for something else and I'm done. Okay. Michelle, actually, can you read it? I've lost my page since I was zooming back and forth here.
Cynthia Rocco, 318 Yeri Hill Road, who I believe is present. No. Nope, not present. Okay. George Schaefer and Gisela Winkler.
Yeah, we are here.
Would you wish to speak?
Sure.
Go ahead.
So I don't want to, or we don't want to take a lot of your time, but two quick points. So the first one is that when we got this house in 2014, it was, and that's an old house, and we are only the third owner, so we take this very seriously. The reason to take that was the beauty and of Yeri Hill Road in general. What we did not know and learned since is that it's a very beautiful community as well. The beauty of this community clearly increased a lot when Josh and Sandia moved in. They are next door neighbors, so we are, how do you call that? Contiguous property owners, I think. And they right away beautified this place significantly. So since they have been there, there's no question that that property got more and more beautiful. And besides that, it's just a neighborhood situation that really adds to the overall quality of life there and safety also. So I would have, and I'm sure that other neighbors have the same feeling. So if something happens, I would have no hesitation to run to them and ask Josh and Sandia for help. And I know exactly, or I absolutely trust that would be in perfect hands. So as people, they are clear, and as neighbors and as citizens of Woodstock, they're a huge gain. But more important here, probably, I'm not a lawyer. We are both just climate scientists teaching at Columbia. But we just followed how this property got more and more beautiful, and that they invest a lot in all of the aspects of this property, starting from the parking lot, and they renovated the house and gets more and more nicer and nicer. And I would actually count this shed to that. So this shed, I walk every time, whenever we are there, we are kind of passing that multiple times per day. This shed is in a really beautiful spot, and it's a small shed, but it's a very nice shed. I would love to have that shed on my property. and it merges into the landscape. It's very it's a very, very strategic spot. And I would just add that to the points that it really adds to the beautification of that, of Yerry Hill Road. So I really hope that the board does grant the variance. We are a very tight neighborhood there. We really are close to each other. And we want to together just keep Yerry Hill Road beautiful and making it more beautiful. And Josh and Sandia really did an excellent job. And I would count this shed to that. So I really hope that there is a way to grant that.
Yes, thank you. Okay,
You want to add something, Gisela? No?
thank you very much. Michelle?
Peter and Laurel Cross.
Laurel is here.
Hi, Laurel.
Hey,
Would you wish to speak?
I would, thank you. I couldn't agree more with the professors about the care and effort that was put into building that lovely shed. You know, it's certainly enviable. What didn't happen, and being new to the area, was that Josh and Cynthia were not aware of the need to obtain a building permit before construction. Am I right? What size shed are you allowed to construct without a building permit?
8 by 10, 80 square feet.
Okay. And, you know, maybe they certainly weren't aware of setback issues. But I would think that people would just, maybe do that research ahead of time before making such a large investment. When we heard that the construction was going on, we go, okay, here goes a shed. What more can we think about it, except that it was housing motorcycles that were using our driveway without permission. And Peter and I are turning that corner with having to decide how to move forward with our property, including a possible subdivision to parcel off a section of the property. The most ideal is the property that is alongside and behind theirs. The other most ideal is to not share our driveway, but our number one driveway, but to use our number two driveway as as a marketing enticement, to say, here you have your own private driveway to go into your 5-acre parcel, and don't pay attention to that shed that's just a few feet away from it. And that's what poses a problem for us, is that we feel that it has devalued our property. I won't go into the other stories in the letter. You all see those. Let me just make sure I'm covering all my, and never mind the noise but hey, I have a motorcycle license myself. I don't ride it anymore, but believe me, my heart was there once. So this is a very hard decision for both Peter and I. But it wasn't what we anticipated.
Well, they're not running the motorcycles in the shed, are they?
That's where they store them.
But I mean, they come and go there, so the noise shouldn't be a long-term mitigating factor. I do understand what you're saying.
No, they're right. They're not driving up and down the street, back and forth. They're they're, you know, that's their launching spot. They go, they come back.
Okay, all
Um,
right, just wanted to
but,
clear that up.
but Harleys are loud, and we all know that. And then, you know, for us to have a survey, you know, for our own purposes, and to be accused of, you know, not keeping them in the loop, and I guess I will go into the story, and to have our markers pulled out because they're unhappy that we conducted a survey. That's illegal.
My clients did not do that.
Okay, well, we're starting to veer off our topic here. I can
Gotcha.
understand you have the proximity is your main concern here at this time, I think.
Understood.
And it's a valid concern, and you know, we want duly noted. We try to stay out of any other things that really
That are
aren't pertinent. to the
private,
case.
understood. I
Thank you.
apologize.
That's okay. It's all right. It's hard. It's sometimes hard to. It's our job to kind of weed that out.
Mr. Chairman, may I just address the building permit issue?
Yeah, Laurel, were you finished for the moment, or I mean, you can speak again, obviously.
I'm good for now.
Okay. Yes, go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, the shed wasn't built or constructed on the property. It was a prefab and then placed there. So, you know, my clients were not aware that they needed a building permit for when they weren't actually building anything. And we recognize that one is required at this point, but they weren't aware of that at the time for that reason.
Right.
I have a question. How long has that shed been there?
Josh?
Josh?
May.
May?
May of 2020, May of 2021.
Okay, so you're talking about, it's been there 6 months, but now it's come up. Correct? Am I?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
moving on.
Well, let's go down the list some more, and
Stephanie and Adam Masri.
Adam, do you wish to speak to the?
Sure. Well, maybe just to underscore what Mr. Schaefer said, you know, the fact that they wouldn't use the driveway, the fact that they won't use that road as an access point by mere asking, but the fact that they placed it carefully and bear the neighbors in mind personifies the type of people that we're dealing with. These aren't difficult people. They didn't do this in spite of anyone. It was like it's been articulated well that they thought that this was the best possible place, and they considered their neighbors' aesthetics as well as their own needs. Again, personifies the type of people that we're dealing with. They're not difficult people. And from what I understand, this is a pretty big shock in the first place. So I don't, you know, I live across the street from them directly. You know, I'm in sight of a lot of their property and barely see it. I thought it was very well. It was considerately done.
Okay.
May I respond to
Thank
that?
you, Adam, yeah, go ahead, Laurel.
Nice to meet you, Adam.
Pleasure's mine, Laura. Pleasure.
What the map doesn't show is the topography of the area. And that is that it's a very steep grade downward from Yeri Hill, so that it would be difficult to see the shed even walking on the other side of the road from it. So what has me confused is, since it is housing motorcycles, and it was just assumed that that driveway was accessible, what is the alternative for transporting these vehicles out of that spot? It's surrounded by a creek, so you can't go that way. Directly above it is another person's house that's not theirs. I don't see how they could go around their backyard because then that's our yard, our property too.
Okay, well, that's a good question. Do we have an answer for that? Is that a pertinent, is this?
They
Ben?
can just walk, they can
Josh?
just walk it, they can just walk it across their yard to the road.
Which
Or
is
if
what they
Josh,
did
or if
to-
Josh wants to drive it across his yard to the road, he can do that too. You know, just go out the driveway, you know, the same driveway they use for their cars.
I mean, it's accessible to another driveway, you're saying?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't placed there because of that other driveway. It was placed there because that was the best location in terms of the neighbors and in terms of the condition of their own property. You know, the site conditions, the grades and the landscaping and that sort of thing.
I mean, I don't really feel the use of the shed is all that relevant to our consideration.
No, I mean, if
You
it's
know,
only.
if they're allowed to have a
access-
shed, they're allowed to have a shed. If they're not allowed to have a
Yeah,
shed, they're
my
not allowed to have
question-
a shed.
Well, because of that information, I was just wondering if this is only accessible to another driveway, because, you know, it's hard for me to put it all together, even from pictures and maps, so.
Yeah, yeah.
This may
No, I
warrant.
get it. I get it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to go out. I'm a hands-on kind of guy, so I think,
I want to see it too.
yeah. So Jude, you and I will go take a peek, see the shed. Just to clarify a few of these issues that are, you know.
Right. I want to say something, and it's just a general observation. In these instances where somebody has vacant land next to their property, there seems to be this assumption that no one is going to be bothered by construction within the setback. And that's not always the case, because just because it's vacant now, doesn't mean that someone down the road might want to do something with their property. And that's not saying that I don't think you should get your variance, but I just want to point that out, that it's something that we've seen a couple times now, where the owners of vacant land are saying, wait a minute, you know, we have plans in the future, and this is infringing on our whatever it is. So just want to toss that one out there. I would like to go look with you, because I'd like to I think part of the issue is that they are using someone else's driveway. So it'd be nice to know that there is another access and maybe even delineate that.
Okay, well, that's where the confusion seems to lie.
Yeah, Josh, you had told me that since they said to you after the 30 days that they did not want you to use it, that you have not used that as access from the point of receiving the letter from them. So, is that the case?
That's correct. I can't say that some neighbors have not come down the shared path or what's being called the driveway, but as communicated to the crosses in writing, we have not used it, and we have also communicated to others who have used it that they shouldn't, despite having a good portion of that shared path that has been used for what we've learned to be a really, really long time with no issues prior to this. We don't have any intention of continuing to use it, and we don't need to.
So if a variance was granted, we could have a condition that it would have to have another access, and that road could no longer be used.
Yes. Yes, and Josh makes a good point. It's not a driveway. It's really just like a path.
Okay.
I'm gonna ride my Softail over there and take a look too.
Street party.
Yeah. Okay, Michelle, are there more contiguous neighbors? Do you care to read?
Robin Danziger, Carol Lieberman. I don't think they're present, and Kathy, and I'm sorry for your last name, Walland?
Kathy, you can unmute now.
I think you better do it,
Oh,
Michelle.
wait, I'll do it. I'm on it. There we go.
Okay, you're
I-
on, Kathy.
I was hitting it, but anyway. So really, I just would read what I already wrote to you, and that is that, like everyone who's spoken, they're great neighbors. We love having them in the neighborhood, and we're familiar with their property. It looks beautiful. It has no impact on us. And the property is so small that I support any effort they have. I mean, it feels to me like in whatever zoning was created that created these setbacks was long after the property had been created. And so they have very limited places to go, and this looks like a good place for it. So that's basically what I'm saying. I support their need for it. They've got it, and it doesn't infringe. It's beautiful. And it's a pretty hard for me to imagine where they could put it if they didn't have it here.
Okay, thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman, just wanted to note that although Ms. Rocco is not here tonight, she did also submit a letter in support.
Yes, we did get that. Thank you. Michelle, is there anybody else?
We're good.
All right, is there any other, anybody wish to say anything else regarding the shed tonight? Okay, with that then, before recessing the public hearing, I will say that we have 62 days to render a decision. We meet every second and fourth Thursday of the month. Decisions can be, you can always check with Michelle on the Friday following those dates to see if we've come to a decision. We sometimes come to one as soon as 2 weeks. In this case, it might be still longer since there's no hurry to build a shed. You already have the shed there, so we like to just get it right. You know, a lot of times we'll take into consideration if this building needs to be done. It's under some constraint or timeline, but since it's there, we probably will just take our time to get this one right. And that's about what I can say right now. If anybody has, yes, Laurel.
I'm just curious, between now and those 63 days, will there be further discussion?
No further public discussion, although anything can be submitted via email to the planning, to the ZBA. So you know, if there's any other information that you need to bring to light, send it.
I'm a little confused about this being tabled for another site visit, where such discussion cannot happen and needs to happen in public.
Not necessarily. I can speak to any member of the ZBA. Doesn't have
As
to
long
be-
as it's not a quorum, yeah.
Right. And that's how we speak with each other. And I think we have enough information here. It just really isn't that complicated. It's just a few issues we'd like to work out and see. It's certainly not one that in my eyes requires another public hearing. I don't think there's any other people who are going to be coming forward on this. We've got a lot of communications, and everybody's communicated except for the one that Mr. Gailey pointed out is here. So if there's anything further, you're free to send to Michelle anything as you've already done, and we'll certainly look it over.
Sounds good.
I have one more question. What is the shed laid on? I couldn't really tell if it was like blacktop or if it was
Gravel.
road base,
Stone.
stone. Okay.
Okay. With that, I would like to close the public hearing for case number 22-01. Do I have a second? All in
I
favor?
second.
Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
With that, good night, everybody. I would like to recess case number 22-01. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, everybody. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Thank you very
COVID's
much.
running rampant. Everybody's getting it, so wear your masks. Stay safe.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Kathy. Good night.
Good night.
Keep very hope beautiful.
Okay. What else we got?
That's it for tonight. And we have 2 new cases. We have 2 outstanding decisions. I'd like to just open case number. Oh, 1 second. I'd like to review case number 21-27, Louise Cooper. That's for a carport in the front yard. Do I have a second? Okay. So, yeah, I visited the site. It's sort of it's a strange little piece where she has property on both sides of the small lane. And the one side where the house is on is surrounded by a fence. There isn't any driveway. There isn't any backyard. It's up against a cliff. So you really, and right now she's parking across the street. So that's where she'd like to put the carport. It'd be sort of standing alone by itself on the piece across the road, and it'd be right on the road. So I'm kind of leaning towards granting this one. It's sort of an odd little configuration. It really is about the only place she could put it. It's where she parks anyway. There's really no other place for her to park. So just a heads up on that, but I'll be writing it up for our next meeting. I just got to it too late to write something up. So, but if anybody wants to look at, if they're concerned with granting a variance for a carport in the front yard, please go by, take a look, and get a hold of me before the next meeting.
It's not too close to the road, right?
It's right on the road. It's a small lane. It's kind of like a private road. So
No plowing.
it's a dead end. Yeah. And it'd be an open frame carport too, so it shouldn't be a problem. And we could state to keep it 3 feet back from the road for plowing issues. Might be a thing to do. Because I think that one might even said 25-foot infringement to a 25-yard setback. So, we would want to keep it off the road. So it's a good point, Jude. Okay, so I'd like to recess case 21-27. That objection? Okay, and we have, I'd just like to discuss ZBA case 21-28. Do I have a second?
Second.
So Joe, have you been up there yet to the Shapiros?
I'll go this weekend.
Okay, good. Yeah, I drove by. I guess it's that piece right, what's the yard number?
It's next to the Rotron driveway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one on the right there, correct? They're kind of pretty far back off the
Going
road.
towards
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty big house they want to turn into a guest house. So I'd be hard pressed to find a way to grant it the way the law is and the need for that. But perhaps I'll even do a closer up site visit. So, but yeah, if you get a chance to look at that, and we can discuss maybe next week if we can get a hold of each other, and maybe we can write something up, get these 2 done by next week.
Great.
And we have a new one, right? The Willow Wood Holdings. That's the use variance, right? Is that the use variance? No, I haven't even looked at that one yet.
And we have another one, which I haven't sent out yet. It's been in my safe since Monday, but I've been in and out the office all this week with doctor's appointments. So this one is for owner wishes to make alterations to establish a live work unit in commercial office space. I don't even know what that means.
Is that the one we're talking about now? 2202?
Oh, live work,
Yeah, yes.
live work.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. 22. That's the only other one we have, right? 2202.
Yes, that's the on the agenda, but I do have another one in the safe, which I will send to everybody tomorrow. They have huge plans though. So I don't know. I have to ask if the architect or somebody to send me that via PDF, because they sent us 6 packets of these humongo plans. So unless you guys want to stop by and pick them up, you can do that too.
You can leave it outside for me.
Yeah,
I just for the one that's the Willow Woods one,
yes.
I'm going to be recusing myself.
Okay.
Okay.
I already told Gordon.
Yes.
The Willow Woods one, there's several buildings on that property. One is a big blue house, and then there looks like there's some other structures behind it. Which structure are they talking about? Do we know?
No, I haven't really reviewed it yet.
I haven't looked at it.
I don't think they even send anything. There's no drawings or anything. I'm looking at the application here.
Yeah, it was just an address and I drive by there all the time because it's about a block from my house, a few blocks. And so I noticed that it looks like an old blue farmhouse, but then in the back, there looks like smaller buildings. So I don't know which structure they are talking about
Okay.
because the original one looks like it was a farmhouse at one point.
Okay, I'll take that one. And Michelle, I just had an idea, maybe perhaps if you could do this, it would be helpful when we do the agenda to put
Yeah.
each representative by the thing, so, because I forget.
I can do that.
I barely remembered.
Which
Louise
ones do you have to do?
Louise Cooper's presentation, but I can't remember. I can't remember the presentation at all. So maybe it'll come to me.
So you want me to write like the case and then who's in charge of the case?
Yeah.
I can
'Cause that
totally.
way I can, when there's 4 or 5 of them piled up there, I know who to call.
Okay. I can do that.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Awesome.
I guess we could even put it in the minutes.
Which I do.
You do. Okay, good. But if you put that, yeah, in the agenda, that way when I go through it, I know
Perfect.
who to yell at.
I can do that.
Like, great. Thanks, Michelle. You're the best.
Absolutely.
Okay, so with that, Marcia,
Yes.
you had an item?
Yes, I had sent everyone an email about the idea of doing, of the zoning board recommending a welcome letter to the town board to vote into their process. Because whenever anyone buys a house, the town is notified within 30 days to update their tax records.
I'm gonna say that's not true.
What?
I can tell you that's not true.
What do you mean it's not true?
We
That-
don't notice of people transferring homes. I mean, they don't change their addresses with us. They don't change the water, nothing. I mean,
So you don't know when
of
there's a
that.
new resident that bought a house, you mean? Really?
The
Mhm.
assessor has to know, right?
yes, but only if they actually call them or if they're asking for information. I mean, a lot of people, the first thing they do is not call the assessor's office to let them know, oh, guess what? It's usually because they just got a bill that's under somebody else's name, or they realize that they don't know where their well is, if they have a well or if they have a town water sewer. So that's when they usually call and be like, oh yeah, we moved here 3-4 months ago. We're like, okay.
So basically, the county must inform the assessor, right? Because the tax
No.
rolls.
The
No.
assessor, nope, we inform the county of everything.
When I bought my house, I received a letter from the tax assessor. That was a form saying, is this information correct? How many bedrooms, how many square feet?
Did you call the assessor though?
No, it came in the mail.
So
Because
how do you
probably the
send,
realtor.
so how do you send a tax rate? You often send tax records out to the previous owner then, not knowing?
Yep. Oh, believe me, that is my nightmare every single day.
Mhm.
It's ridiculous because
And
we
now
don't
there's
have
a lot of-
updated records.
And now there's even fewer records with people coming and buying houses with cash,
Wow.
because there's not even a bank or,
I wonder if there's a way
they-
to, through the MLS to be able to be notified of properties being sold in Woodstock.
I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but a lot of people just like, oh, I don't have to do that. Or they think that their lawyer's gonna do it, or that the realtor's gonna call. So they just like, whatever.
Well, I wonder who gave them my information to send that letter to them then. Strange.
Yeah.
Mm,
We got one of those when we bought our house
You did?
41 years ago.
So it's coming from somewhere. Somebody's getting notified that there's a new owner.
Yeah.
I'll ask Karen tomorrow and see how they do, because I know in for tax purposes, and changing water bills and everything. I mean, it's ridiculous. We only find out because last minute they call us and they're like, we need a water read because we're selling the home tomorrow, or the closing is tomorrow.
Well, my point being, it would be so great whenever there was a new resident to be able to find a way when there is a new resident to be able to send a welcome letter that basically spells out the guidelines. If you're going to put up a shed, when you need a permit, when you need to request a variance. And what it would do, it would eliminate everybody that says, oh, I didn't know. Well, you would know if you received this letter.
Well, if that were true, then towns would not be putting up those little signs saying that all building and things are enforced. You know, you ever see that? Some towns have those signs.
Yes. And you know what? When I was on the planning board chair wanted to have a sign when you entered Woodstock. It said zoning in effect. And the town board didn't want to do it.
Right.
Don't ask me why, because I think knowing there's zoning is a protection, right? I mean, you think about some of these communities around us that don't have zoning and what happens with your neighbors sometimes. I actually think it's a positive thing, right? That's part of the appeal of Woodstock, is that, you know, fine, that's my 2 cents. But I do think that there should be a sign that says zoning is in effect. I think that's one way to inform people. So at least, what does that mean, you know, to someone?
I wonder if the Chamber of Commerce gets some list. No?
I mean, the county must get filed a deed when it's properties. The county does get deed transfers.
Yes, and you know, my memory when I went, and at one point I was inquiring about something, and I think there is a lag time from when the assessor does get that information, but I know they get sent from the county. But
yeah,
the thing is, it doesn't travel downstairs to you in that same little building. I don't know why. You guys got to work that.
I know.
Right?
So you're saying that the county does send the updated information to the assessor?
I don't know how long that takes.
No, the assessor is the one who sends all the updated information by November to the county. And that's how the county sends out the property bills January 1st.
but the county must get the deed, the change of the deed.
It's where it's filed, is in the county.
It's filed in the county, so they're the first ones to find out if a house is sold.
Right.
What is it that you want to communicate to people?
Well, I thought that we get so many cases where people say, oh, I didn't know I needed a permit. We got that with the hot tub case. We got that with the shed cases. And if there was a welcome to Woodstock letter that basically spelled out some basic things, like if you know, when you need a permit, when you need a variance. And so that people would know this information before they constructed a shed. And, you know, it would make Ellen and Butch's life easier. It would, you know, certainly.
Is there any reason why, instead of sending it to like new people, which sounds like it's hard to identify, just like every other year, sending it to everybody in Woodstock?
That's a great idea.
You know, I used to get something from Cahill, right? And also Bonacek, I think. They would send a little brochure that had all the county phone numbers and all this. It could be, you know, some sort of informational piece.
That's a great idea.
Maybe it needs to go.
I would volunteer to write up the letter and work on it if the town doesn't have the resources to do it.
If you're an elected official or a member of the town board, it's good PR for them too. I mean, you know.
Good point.
Yeah, if you'd like to take that on, you know, more power to you, and we'd be behind you, and we can present it to the town board.
Okay.
Because, you know, yeah, even a mailing out a postcard, you could, you know, that all zoning is enforced. It could be simple. You don't have to give them the whole, you know.
Sure.
I mean, we're all, you know, if you're buying a house, you're a grown up, you can make the call, but we could certainly give some bullet points that wouldn't cost the town an arm and a leg. It could be on a postcard or a brochure, something simple that all zoning is enforced, and, you know, call your building department before you do anything. It's really quite simple, you know. We're watching you. We're watching you.
Well, you know, and also if we can add to our list of recommendations, that idea that welcome to Woodstock, zoning in effect. It was
Mhm.
rejected before, but I think maybe there might be a different feeling about it now because of the kinds of things that are going on.
Oh, as far as the sign in the town, you mean, when you're entering the town?
Well, there's like, well, I think, I don't know if at one point there was delineation when you entered the town. I don't know if that exists.
Yeah, there's a sign like on 375, welcome to Woodstock, I think.
Yeah, but I
It
don't,
might just say Woodstock Fire District. I don't even think it's
Yeah.
done by
Or
the fire
entering
company.
Woodstock, maybe?
well, that sign,
I think it just says Woodstock.
I think that, yeah. Well, anyway,
I mean, you have the sign, all zoning enforced, that's all. You know, you have to have some caveats out there. You say, you know. But, yeah, see what you put together. Sounds good.
Okay,
All right?
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm talked out. So without objection, I'd like to close tonight's meeting.
Wait, I just
What?
have one more thing. Sorry.
What?
This is quick. One
Go
more
ahead.
thing.
Okay, go ahead.
I sent everybody an email today regarding the Housing Oversight Task Force. Mike is part of this, so I'm just reminding everybody, I'm putting it out there. It's going to be on the agenda for next meeting, the 27th. They need 10 to 15 minutes of our time
Okay.
at the end of the meeting.
or longer if we have questions.
Right. 10 to 15, Jude.
Famous
That's it.
last words. Famous
Cutting
last
you
words.
off.
Okay.
so Gordon, should I hold off writing up my decision then until you all make the site visit?
I would think so. Yeah, I just want to clarify this path/driveway business. I think we all do. You know.
You know, the way it looked, it almost looked like it was an easement, but I didn't see any electrical poles. And then, but I was told that when they built those houses, they used that road to go in to erect the houses or to service septics and stuff. So it has been used, but I don't think the road is an issue anymore since he's not using it.
Okay.
The issue is the setback, you know, how close it is to the corner.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Oh,
So.
Now you can
You
adjourn.
don't usually get this many people showing up for a shed, huh?
Or lawyers involved.
Yeah, lawyer on the shed. I
well,
think
there's
that
a
might be
reason
first.
there was a lawyer involved.
I got 7 emails and 4 phone calls from him today.
The lawyer?
Yes.
And they always lead with the 5 criteria, don't they?
Oh my
They
God,
don't tell you
reminded me
what-
about
they don't start with the case, the subject. They start with the 5 criteria and how
He
they.
reminded me so much of Ron Porty when he did that.
But Ron was great at that. Yeah. We had one case with Ron Porty and Mark Miller on the same case. It was wonderful.
Well,
They
I
both-
believe from
they
what
both-
I was, sorry.
Good times.
Okay, go ahead.
Should I share this information about what I know? Okay,
They didn't share it. No.
okay.
No. Okay, so with that, I'd like to bid adieu.
I do. Party is so
Adjourn.
fun.
Have a
Adjourn.
good night. Get ready to dig out Sunday
Where's
night.
my I need a hammer. My son has this big hammer he uses for a meeting. He goes
Yes.
to use that. Doesn't have the same effect on Zoom though. Okay, we're
Second the
adjourned.
adjournment. Just
Without objection that I'm going to adjourn.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you, Michelle.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Guys,
Bye
have a good night.
now.